Could you benefit from adventure rider training? Let's talk about it. Viewers, thanks again for stopping by the channel. And of course, what I want to talk about this week is adventure rider training. And do you need it? I don't know. I don't really have the answer. But what I do have is a little quiz here that can help you determine whether or not you could benefit from some coaching. To be fair, I didn't arrive at this list of questions by accident. I've been riding and racing off-road for about 35 years, and I've spent the last 4 years working with riders from all over the globe to improve their adventure bike and dual sport skills. Last thing, just use this video to self-assess where your skills currently are and perhaps where you ultimately want them to be. Look, I know adventure rider training isn't feasible for everyone, and some people flat out just don't need it or just don't want to do it. That's fine. The point of this video is to get you to, again, self-assess where your skills at and where you want them to be, and perhaps spur you to take some action in the future to become a more confident adventure rider. Question number 1. Do you have little to no experience riding a motorcycle off-road? Are you a complete beginner? Are you transitioning from the street? If you're either of those, I would say you're a great candidate for adventure rider training. Number 2, does your motorcycle intimidate you? Now, this one may sound odd to some people, but believe it or not, there are folks out there who are cutting their teeth trying to become adventure riders, and it doesn't matter the size or displacement of the bike, they're a little bit overwhelmed, they're a little bit intimidated, and a little bit apprehensive. So again, number 2, does your motorcycle intimidate you? And that's not a good place to be if you're planning on riding large-scale adventures. Number 3, do you understand and can you execute the proper riding position? And what I'm talking about here generally is, where are your eyes looking? Do you understand where your feet and hands should be located? What about that connection that your body should be making with the chassis? Those are the types of things I'm talking about when we're talking about proper riding position. Number 4, do you struggle to execute turns? Or do you find yourself drifting wide and sometimes into the other lane or onto the other side of the road or trail? Believe it or not, this is actually quite common. Number 5, do any of the following terrain variants make you feel uncomfortable or uneasy? Uphills, downhills, sand, rocks, mud, or water crossings. Again, do any of these things make you feel uneasy? Number 6, can you take off from a dead stop on a steep incline? And this seems simple enough, but it really speaks volumes about your level of clutch control. Number 7, can you execute the proper riding position for steep climbs or steep descents? Because look, we don't ride those in the same fashion we do flat ground, and the truth is, a lot of adventure riders, a lot of dual sport riders struggle with climbs and descents. Number 8, can you confidently stand on your motorcycle while riding? Look, I'm not saying you need to do this all the time, but it is a great gauge of both your balance, your skill, and your confidence on the bike. Number 9, do you feel fatigued after relatively short rides? And look, it's not uncommon to go on a 10 or 12 hour ride, cover 300-400 miles in a day, but maybe you go 50 miles, 60 miles, you ride for 3 or 4 hours and you're really fatigued? Think about that. Number 10, and this is the last one for me, but have you ever felt apprehensive about an upcoming ride or the terrain or the route, and maybe even said to yourself, look, I just don't want to get hurt? Think back about those times and carefully consider what was making you feel apprehensive and what ultimately made you feel that way. Alright viewers, now that you've seen the video, let me ask the question again. Do you believe you could benefit from some adventure rider training? Please drop a comment below, and if you happen to come up with any questions, benmotorcycleadventures.com or at benmotorcycleadventures on both Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to help you out in any way that I can. And until next week, ride safe.